Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So basically, I want us to go back to this image um, called the fourth element triad. The word fourth element comes from an addition of elements to the existing theory of health we call One Health theory. Okay, and you can see in this One Health theory we have animal health, human health, and environmental health. If you go to the World Health Organization and all these people who do health, you will find One Health theory being very, very big time. And we say that human health depends on the animals and the environment. Animals, because 99% of the diseases that attack humans come from animal kingdom. And we call those diseases zoonosis. For example, a disease that comes from animal, if for example a coronavirus coronavirus, human beings in China were playing with animals. I hear the bat, and then the corona jumped from the bat to humans. And the environment, you know what it is. If you live in a bad environment, you're going to get sick. One, if you live in a slum, I get exposed to a lot of problems there, health problems. And if you live in a polluted environment, so there's two environments. One is the immediate living environment, and the next one is the external environment. Like you can have global warming. There's nothing you could do about that, but you could do something. Now you see that theory, One Health theory, has been going on, I don't know, for 40, 49 years or so, but it hasn't produced health in humans. And why? Because it has no money. The World Health Organization keep preaching about it. Stay away from animals. Stay away from bad environment. But how do you stay away from animals if you have to go to the forest and hunt animals like monkeys that cause Ebola, because you have to go to the forest and hunt animals because that's your source of proteins. Human beings rely for their survival on protein. Okay, and so this is why animal health is important. And we have some new people joining us. I think my eyes are beginning to disappear in their function. I can't see very well. But there, yeah, welcome. Welcome. So this whole thing about animal health is very, very important because animals are responsible for 99% of the diseases that become pandemics. And of course, environmental health, you know why. There's pollution. If somebody is living in a bad environment, and then gets sick because of that bad environment, and you bring him to hospital, and the people at hospital, they give him as many injections as possible, then they set him back to that environment. It means they have done absolutely nothing. So I would like you to know this basic structure, which is the functional structure of the Ubrica itself. And we say that this One Health hasn't worked for the World Health Organization or for anyone in the world because it is missing an important element. It's called economic health. It's missing economic health. You cannot improve health of a poor person in the long term. But you see, on the other hand, we had some sustainability theory whereby people in environment, call them the green people, or the tree huggers. They like to say environment is good if we can save our environment, or maybe save our planet, if humans are healthy and the economic is healthy, and of course companies are working thinking about the economic health. It is from there that we found this theory, maybe 1972, called what? Called the triple bottom line, written by Hawkinson in London. He said this was actually responsibility for companies, and they call that corporate social responsibility, CSR. So Elkington said that for companies to be successful, they have to be thinking about the environment where they're working so they can stop polluting. They have to be thinking about the humans where they are working so they can take care of them. Of course, he was talking about multinational corporations. And then they have to think about the pocket of the people but these two theories, the sustainability theory, that Elkington's triple bottom line, and the One Health theory, have not worked to produce health for anyone or even save the environment. Is because these two theories are operating above one another, and they're not cooperating. So there's tension between these two theories, And that is the tension that Ubrica comes to solve. Just want you to understand that as a fundamental solution to the health of the world. That's why we say that Ubrica is what is a global health project, because we can combine Elkington's work 1972 and One Health Theory 1971 by WHO, and then we find when we talk about One Health with these three elements, we introduce economic health there. Then we have a fourth element. And I wanted to show you the fourth element triad once again, so that you have this in your mind. Because as you're doing a Ubrica project, people will be asking, what is new? What's new? If it's not new, it's no information. What is new is that Ubrica introduces the fourth element into health. We have worked on healthcare in the world, all over the world, without economic health, and that is how we've missed all this. And now I just want to show you, we go into a bit of detail about this diagram, because it helps us to understand exactly how you introduce the fourth element, that's mean economic health, into One Health theory to become sustainable One Health. And these are basic business model. Like yesterday we said, this is the basic unit of operation. And so somebody asked that question, how does it relate? How does even UBN? And as we're working on this, we found that people do not improve because they are very poor. And this is the problem number one. We don't know what to call it problem. Is this opportunity number one we want to address to solve the health problems of people? Is health access. Health access is lacking because people do not have money. Like, there's no economic health. When there's no economic health, you cannot go to the hospital. You cannot help to improve your health. Even if the hospital was next to you, you cannot afford to pay. And why don't people have money? People can fail to have money because they have no market. They lack market to sell their products. Okay? And when they lack market to sell their product, it means that there is no money to put in their pockets to fund their health. And the question is, how can people lack market? Market requires quality. In Kenya, for example, we have a lot of supermarkets coming up all over the country, even the non-supermarkets, which we call sokomjinga, on the streets, and they sell imported stuff. Let's start from Gikomba, where you buy imported clothes. They are second-hand clothes, but they're imported. Then you come all the way to street market, even in Karatina, where you find onions from Tanzania. Then you go to even sophisticated supermarkets where oranges, apples, fruits, we have apples, we have grapes. All these things come from another country, as far away as Greece. And honey, which honey is a lot. There's a lot of honey in Kenya, but we don't drink or eat Kenyan honey. We import that from New Zealand. Why do we have all these things imported? Because the processing of the food products after you have gotten them, processing anything, including processing textiles so that you can make clothes, is what matters. That processing is known as a value addition. In Kenya, we have no idea about adding value, and people try to sell to you something that looks bad. Let's go to the Juakali market in where? In Nairobi, Makadara, that's in the Eastlands. They make for you furniture that looks like is going to break down in a second, because there's no additional value, so things look good. Value addition. Value is what? Value means quality. For those who don't understand, value means quality. Now, if we come up to even medicines, we have some people manufacturing medicines in Kenya, but those medicines are complete counterfeits. And of course, their capacity for treating you and so that you get better is about 40%. If you get Panadol that's made in Kariobangi, God help you, it's gonna solve your pain problem. So we have quality that's a huge problem. And quality comes from knowledge. That is why we send everybody to school so they can learn how to make things right. Yeah, to make the right things right. First of all, the right things has to be the right thing. That if you're taking medicine, antibiotics, you know this medicine is gonna kill meningitis, and then you make it right. We don't have that capacity because quality it has never been at the forefront of our manufacturing or even our production. And so when you make something that is of low quality, very poor quality, what do you get? You take it to the market, you get sokomjinga because you're hoping that the person who is going to come and buy is not going to ask any questions about quality. And that is what we call sokomjinga. Sokomjinga is another word of say stupid product. Okay, and then there is sokomjinga in every town in Kenya. In that way, the philosophy of ujinga has embraced us, and we are engulfed in it, swimming in it, and this is what we have to kick away. Then we ask ourselves, why are people so happy and in swimming in the deep end of ujinga? And we find out it all has to do with money. And so we have knowledge in a university. For example, we have JQuat full of knowledge about engineering, but you're not going to find people at JQuat building the road that's passing right outside their campus, known as Thika Superhighway. Why? We have engineers that have trained, but the engineering is not, their engineering training is not coming out of JQuat. And so we say if you're going to build an, an organization that has sustainability because it has fourth element in it, it means that everybody has to access the market. Poor quality does not have any market anywhere in the world. People will choose. Right now, Corona is teaching us that we have to get good quality things here by ourselves because we are not allowed to import things from outside. Even the rich people who used to eat the money that could have been invested in creating quality stuff or even creating good medical care, they cannot leave the country now the way they used to go to London. Okay, and so it becomes a very, very fundamental thing we all have to invest in. And now to give you a big summary of this basic unit of the organization of Ubrica, and this unit can be placed anywhere. We say that first of all, this is the university that has a lot of knowledge, and we know our people in the university are very smart because when they leave this country and go somewhere else, they do some fantastic jobs. That knowledge is locked in there in a place called Ivory Tower. Now it doesn't leave the university, and why? Because there is no channel. There's no, if for example, if we build, if you build if we want airlines to land here in Kenya, let's say we have to build an airport and then a pathway for the airline to travel, and then they land right at the airport. So there are two things that are missing in Kenya. First of all, there is no place for knowledge to land in the community. There's no place for knowledge to land. For example, if you're very, very good in horticulture, and where are you going to take your horticulture? In a place where people and food processing can happen. People, you grow food there in the fields, bring them to a place where the food is processed, and that kind of place is known as produce value addition center. And that's what you see here in this diagram, produce value addition center, PVAC. The PVAC is the airport where knowledge lands in any community, and this knowledge must come from institution of higher learning where people are getting their PhDs, they are getting their master's degree in doing things. And then in order for that thing to happen, there have to be people who are working on that produce. Say either they're growing bananas, they're growing fruits, whatever they are growing, there have to be people working, and those people we call them community, and that's the community. And in order to have a community that is very successful, we are going to have a community with a chapter itself. Okay, and then the space between the university and the community is very, very high entropy state. Entropy means that there is a difference, a very huge difference in the density of knowledge about process things in the university, and there is a density of knowledge about production. That means farming and producing things. But when those things are separated, the knowledge in the university is separated from the community, then community is producing things that have no knowledge inside them. Yeah, community is producing things that has no knowledge inside it, and the only market that buys such things is known as sokomjinga. All right, because low quality stuff are not built on knowledge. When knowledge is missing, is known as ujinga. And so we want now to we introduce UBN as a channel where knowledge can travel through, and then it lands in a produce value addition center in the community, and then those things can be improved in value and then put on Soko Janja. So as you see, Soko Janja is the counter distinction from Soko Mjinga. Okay, let's do away with this business of Ujinga. Why do we educate our engineers and then we go to China to get engineers to come here and work? That is what we call Ujinga of the engineers. Why do we educate doctors and then we go to Cuba to bring doctors here to work? That is Sokomjinga ya madaktari. And so this business of Sokomjinga is all over the country, all the way. But at the heart of the problem, what we discovered at the heart of the problem, it is not people like politicians or whatever. It's not the system. It's all about money. It's all about money. And we are told that how money is created and how money is issued has everything to do with everything in the world. We didn't know that. The money is created in a centralized system and it is issued by centralized people to people in a centralized system. So it's issued to people who have money. And that is why the centralized money, like fiat currency, doesn't work, and you need alternative currency that can go into a university like Masida Muliro University of Science and Tech, and this money like UBN, it can be given there directly to people who are doing research, and even for taking the research down to the community, so that the community can benefit from the knowledge, and we move away from Ujinga business, we come to smart business, and so in this case. Now to explain the entire triad, we have universal knowledge. Now we have seen how it's going to travel through a channel that is very wide, has big bandwidth, and brings knowledge right down to the community because people cannot move if they don't have money. So they are funded to travel down there. Then we have we have the community itself, members of the chapter growing whatever is growable there. The universities are bringing knowledge to advise them. And then you put a clinic right next to the produce value addition center and a retail store, and people can come there for shopping when they are driving by. And then you have a Ubrica retail clinical center. As you can see, this retail clinical center has got three elements that you want to keep in mind. It has a retail store, it has produce value addition center, and a clinic. Yeah, so that people in usually they have to choose between going to see the doctor, and so they're kuna siku ya hospitali, and many mothers, when they have small babies, they can all they do because the hospital is too far away, it takes them a whole day, sometimes 2 days, to go and get just a small vaccine. So, or maybe treatment for a small baby, even the baby is not sick, for a well baby clinic, and then they cannot work. But when the produce value addition center is next to the clinic, then they don't have to choose between going to the clinic and going to work. And then you have a retail store. The retail store transforms the work of people into money, because people are going to come, other people are going to come and shop there and buy. But those who cannot shop there, they can shop on Sokojanja, because photographs are taken of the produce that is there, and these photographs enter the human cyberspace, the cyberspace, and they are traveling at very high speed. And as you can see, when people are shopping, they pay money, some profit come back to the university, most of the profit comes back to the community and when my money is coming back to the community in community's pocket, it is subdivided, such a small fraction of that money enters into an escrow. And it said that blockchain is totally capable of putting money in an escrow, and when money is coming into an escrow, is put in a savings account of the blockchain on the Ethereum blockchain, and that forms a big smart contract or full smart contract, and that works as health insurance. Okay, that is the picture, the fourth element triad, and it can be placed anywhere. This you can put this in any village in the country for as long as there is money that is transporting, acting as a channel for transporting knowledge, and also helps to build the airport where the knowledge from the university lands. And then this means that we put into work all the universities in Kenya, because we have 66 universities in the country. They're actually more than the number of counties. So we can have the knowledge being mobilized. You know what happens to the students who help to who help to bring knowledge to the produce value addition centers? We get jobs there. Right now, we have how much? Almost 99% unemployment, particularly for certain degrees. So the university has become this mill of issuing paper degrees that have no value. The only even people who are said that to be guaranteed for jobs like doctors, they don't get employed here. Why? Because we went to Cuba and got doctors. So that is the thing that we would like to highlight, that it's possible to create very, very high level employment rates or job opportunities for people, like say South Korea or Japan, where everybody knows where they're going to work when they graduate, and people graduate going to work in their produce value addition center in their community, depending on what subject they train. Okay, that is that's slide number one. Ui, huku sioni kitu. It is so dark out here, but the light is coming in. The other PowerPoint I wanted us to discuss is that now for you, now you see what you have done for buying Ubricoin and buying Ubrica shares is that you have made it possible to put produce value addition centers in every village inside a URCC. You have done that, and means that you have brought a lot of development in the nation, and that is before we do what? We go to we go to build the biomedical industrial city, which is really possible. Okay, and this is the opportunity for you. Now, what does all that mean for you? And now this is a graph showing the 200-day moving average for UBN since November last year. In this graph, you see that this is November. This is way after the airdrop we have done maybe in June, and we get UBNs were taken by foreigners. Of 99% of this the UBNs that are held and they are published on Etherscan, they are held by Asians. Yeah, Far East Asia, and that means Chinese. We have South Koreans, we have Japanese people, and then we have some people from Middle East, India, Bangladesh, and then the others are in Europe. What does this mean for us? It means those guys don't care about our UBN, and they'll be playing with it. For them, it's for speculation. Now, we don't want UBN for speculation. We want UBN as investment. And if we play around with UBN like that, we leave it to the Asian, it is going to be what? It is going to be taken, and suddenly we have, they're going to destroy the value of UBN. And this is why we're doing these sessions, so that we can mobilize as many of our people as possible, most likely more than Asians, to hold UBN. Right now, we have 69,000 people holding UBN. If we bring another, that's like 70,000, almost 70,000 people. We bring another 70,000 people to hold UBN, then we have a negotiating power. And in fact, because Kenya, we have more than 70,000 people. Actually, we have how many? We have 14 million families. So 70,000 is a drop in the bucket. We want and we hope that everyone here speaks to people in their network, and we mobilize as many people as possible, so that we can take control of this UBN, so that it's not controlled by Asians. Now you see, in the beginning, UBN price was very, very low. Here it's coming to about 6 zeros and a dollar and one, 6 zeros and one, and so it was very, very low. And then in January, we called for people to come in and help buy out the UBNs. And this big spikes you see here in price is when a single individual comes and buys out a lot of UBN. And then it's because of a single individual, the price drops back down to where it was. And then we have another single individual or a group of individuals. They come and buy out some, and then it drops again. It's because we were calling for people to buy, to go to the exchanges and buy out all those UBNs. By that time, there was about 2.5 billion UBN, and they bought. But then the price still came down because the rest of us, the rest of the people of Kenya, they are not responding. And so then you can see at this time, at the end of February, between February 20th, March 20th, the UBN is struggling in the market to fight for itself, and it is not doing fine. And of course, then it comes up, and in March we did another call for buying of UBN, and this is what you see as this price. But even as it is happening, the price is still steadily rising, steady rise like this, steady, 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 such that the price from that time has increased more than 2,000%, which is good. Now it means that if you bought UBNs here around January, that price change, the value has come to about 2,000%, right? And that's very good. And it means that you're still making money even when the price is very low. But you have to buy and hold. What you're asking people is spend some money, maybe 1 ETH, 2 ETH, get 1 ETH or 2 ETH, buy as much UBN as you can, and then you hold it. And for this to work, so that the price doesn't drop down again to the bottom, we need a lot of people buying. In fact, um, on average, there's people who are buying in this spiky zone. They were buying 100 million UBN with 1 ETH or so. And so, if you 1 ETH around that time was about $120. And so today the ETH has gone up, but then the UBN also has gone up like 2,000 times. And this is how you make money. So UBN is not just for helping us build those nice, nifty fourth element triads, but is also building wealth in your pocket. And this is going to build your wealth very, very rapidly. Because you can see here, we're talking about 2 months period, maybe let's say from January to May, that 4 months, and you're building value of about how much? 2,000%. There is no investment anywhere that brings value like that. And if we all now came down and bought all those UBNs, there's about 500 million UBN in the market, Phoenix box today. You want to go there and buy at least 100 million UBN. That would be nice. Or maybe 10 million, or maybe 1 million. Buy as many as possible. But it's not good for you to buy them all by yourself. It's good for you to involve your relatives, because you don't want to become rich all alone. People, your friends, they might feel jealous and come and break into your house. Tell everybody you know to buy UBN, because the price is still affordable. Because I see if we continue this trend and get more spikes like that, but spikes are continuous, then you see what's called a takeoff or mooning of UBN. Now I think we have how many minutes? 7 minutes remaining. I would like to invite questions, and this is precisely what you're going to do to make UBN work for you very, very well. Is going there and buying it early now before the UBN moons, because going to the moon, because of these campaigns you're doing. Yeah, thank you. Let me see who is online, and feel free to unmute yourself, make a comment, ask a question. Let's see. June, Joyce, iPhone, Grace, Fred. Okay. Any questions? This 5 minutes. We have. Was it good? Because I wanted us to explain those two things: the basic unit, how it brings money to you, and the basic unit, how the money comes to. Since we have 5 minutes, I think I can illustrate to you exactly what I mean, because of another PowerPoint. PowerPoints. Linking is so poor. Yes.
When you finish this presentation, can you send it over? We can actually circulate it to our social networks.
Oh yeah, I am also recording. I think I'm recording this. My recording. Yeah,
Hopefully so.
yes, because this morning I'm not seeing very well because of something else called I. Yeah, I'm going to do what? I'm looking for just one more slide before time expires to illustrate this point about UBN and using a slide from Bitcoin, because what we saw with Bitcoin, yeah, open, yeah. What Bitcoin did, it took 5 years to reach this flag, open, uh, open inflection point. Mm-hmm. Ubricoin project finance, Ubricoin working with cryptos, pitch deck. That's not it. Ubricoin, I'm a doctor. Oh, I don't know why that's why Ubricoin. I think why Ubricoin version 2. Oh, this is Zoom Daily. We were showing these slides earlier this month, and I'm looking for the slide that has got. I'm looking for the slide that has got. Yeah, there. You see the slide, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to speak about it very quickly. This is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was started way back, say in 2000. What was it? Around 2009, 2010. Satoshi Nakamoto published this in 2010 in the month of March. But you see, even by that time, 2010, 2011, 2012, there was nothing. And then 2014, something happened. And then it went on the ground. You can see that pattern showing in Ubricoin here. Yeah, showing we are like walking on the ground. But that took 2015, 2016, 2017, new things began to happen. Let's say that Ubricoin is somewhere here, around 2016. But why did it take this long? Because Bitcoin was not created for any use. Bitcoin was created for speculation purpose only. And then the speculators found it and started speculating. And then there was this J curve, like a hockey stick curve, going up all the way to $20,000 in 2018. Ubricoin is not going to do it for all this time, all these years. Why? I tell you why. Because Ubricoin is not a cryptocurrency for speculation. You have seen it has very, very specific job to do. The job that Ubricoin is doing has to do with it's that fourth element triad. First of all, the speculation itself is this what you're seeing in the market today because we haven't built the fourth element triad. But as soon as now we start working on those URCCs and building communities and connecting the university. Now Bitcoin has direct utility. Bitcoin has no utility, and that's why it took Bitcoin so long to take off. And of course, there was so much resistance from the government. So in terms of now explaining to you how long will it take for you to start getting money, to start seeing these big returns on investments, like Bitcoin brought after 5, 6, 7 years, for Ubricoin, it is much, much sooner than that. Okay, so let's look at the Bitcoin curve. This one having been contracted by 4 or 5 years here. So we're not going to be crawling on the ground forever, because basically the campaign, we go and talk to the universities, which we have already started. We have worked with several universities now to understand how knowledge can be transported. That whole thing of money for transporting knowledge is the heart of the matter and what is going to make Ubricoin explode in the market. The other thing is we see economic development, having money cures or eradicates 99% of diseases killing people, particularly women and children. Why? Because when you have money, you can go to the clinic. You can you can live better in a better environment. You can stay away from animals. You will not be going to the bush to look for protein. because you go to the supermarket and buy meat there, not going to the jungle to hunt monkeys for food. See, money means a lot. It makes possible to have a good health, nice housing, nice living away from animals, and so it reduces transmission of diseases that become pandemics. Okay, so that's the end for today's discussion. Thank you so much. So I'll see. I'm recording this event